This is the Foy Jr. Show, where faith, truth, and courage come together. Join us as we explore life's deeper purpose and carry the torch of conviction. The show begins now.
Welcome to the Foy Jr. Show. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm at an airport in Istanbul. We're flying to Ephesus. I just spent the last 4 days in Istanbul, and I got to tell you, I'm completely blown out of the water. What started off as an empty nesters trip with my wife and I, that I wanted to have the tail end of it be in Turkey for my hair transplant that I've been planning for a couple of years. And we did it. I followed through with the hair transplant. I was a little nervous. It's done. And what started off, as I was saying, as an empty nester tour has turned into an incredibly spiritual journey that I had no idea I would partake in Jesus just showing up. And I'm not sure if it's because of the journey I'm on spiritually, why it happened, the timing, where I am, the places we visited, but I know it was the intent of a higher power, of the Holy Spirit, and I'm very grateful. Let me share specifically what I'm talking about. Jesus showing up. Here I am in Turkey, Istanbul, in an Islam nation with Muslims, visiting mosques, and an overwhelming amount of the culture of Islam, of that religion, is everywhere. You have the prayer chants over the loudspeakers that partake throughout the day. You have the mosques that pray 5 times a day. They're open for prayer 5 times a day. And as we're touring the mosques, we're witnessing this ritual. You have the women wearing the coverings, some just the face, others the entire body, exposing just the eyes, the hijab, the garment that covers them. You have the men in what appears to be very comfortable, and at one point I was jealous because it's so hot out, for their comfortable attire that they wear, and experiencing the Islam faith when they're interacting with you, when they're talking to you, when you're lost on a train and they're helping you. That was something that was definitely inspirational. I'm talking about very graceful people who are completely open to the tourism that's happening in Istanbul. Very helpful, very graceful, very at peace, joyful people. And that was not what I was expecting, because I really had no expectations other than the fact that I thought maybe it'd be a little standoffish, a little pushback because of the way we dress, because of our lack of sharing their value system. And this is where the rubber meets the road, the value system. So as I'm witnessing these prayers 5 times a day in the garbs that they wear throughout Istanbul, in the many mosques that are everywhere, do we really have that much of a difference in value system? And I would offer that we don't have that much of a big difference. And I started reading the Quran, a couple chapters, to really understand what I was witnessing. And the Holy Spirit showed up to me in the mosque. And what he showed me was what it looks like to live in faith, what it looks like to live out your spiritual beliefs in public. And like it or not, that's exactly what the Muslims do. And that's what I witnessed, this spiritual transparency, the unapologetic approach, or the unapologetic worship through the loudspeakers throughout the entire city, through the uniform, for lack of a better word for this podcast, through the 5 days showing up in the mosques, unapologetically showing their honor to who they worship. And we did a tour. We did a tour of a couple museums, and one was the oldest mosque in the world, the Arab, A-R-A-P mosque, was actually originally a church. that was built in 1325 that was later converted to a mosque when the Ottoman Empire conquered. And what we learned in walking it, we got a tour guide who was Muslim, really great guy. What we learned was in a mosque, there is no pictures, there's nothing other than architectural design. And what they did was they took over these Christian churches and they plastered over all of the drawings of the apostles, all of the Virgin Mary mosaics. They basically plastered over them, which preserved them by default. And why they do that is because there's no picture of Allah. There's no picture of Muhammad in the mosques. There's no picture. There's just these, to the left and to the right, there's the Arabic language that says who they are. But there's no idol. There's no idol. One second. Okay, sorry. As I said, I'm in an airport trying to pull this off. I'm going to get more detailed in next week's podcast, but I don't want you to go without a week of me telling you where I am and what's going on. So back to the mosque. There's no idol worship in a mosque, as God had originally said in the Bible. Let's look at the biblical Christian or the Old Testament, Exodus 20:4-5. You shall not make for yourself an idol in a form of anything in heaven above or on earth, beneath the waters or below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord, am your God, and I am jealous. Deuteronomy. Therefore, watch yourself very carefully, since you saw no form on the day that the Lord spoke to you at the herb out in the midst of the fire. Beware, lest you act corruptly of making carved image of yourself in any form or figure. Isaiah 44:9-11. Those who make idols are foolish, because their idols have no power to help them. All who worship idols will be disgraced along the craftsmen, mere humans who claim they can make God. All right, and this goes on. John, little children, keep yourselves from idols. Corinthians, therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. So the mosques follow that. The mosques have no idea what God looks like. We don't, because we can't explain him. He's inexplainable. He's indescribable. He's the creator of the universe. He's the Alpha. He's the Omega. There's no containing him. There's no putting him in a box. There's no description of him. It's all powerful. And you have to respect the fact that when you walk in a mosque, there's no idols. There's no prophets. There's no apostles anywhere in the building. It's architectural designed, and they've taken over as they conquered Christian churches, transformed them to mosques by removing the cross on the top of the domes, and by covering the idol worship that you could claim or you could make a case for. Sorry about that. At the airport again. So listen, what I learned, and I want to just get to the point, and we'll pick this up next week, and we'll bring you into my Ephesus, when we go to Ephesus, which is in the New Testament, Ephesians, where Mary and the Apostle John lived. Here's what I'm getting at. When we look at Islam, maybe we could learn something. Maybe this is the fastest growing religion on the planet for a reason. Maybe these young people are attracted to Islam, and I'm going to go over the statistics. By the year 2050, I believe it is, or 2030, they're going to be matched in worship totals of followers as Christianity. The growth is astronomically impressive. You have youth, young men that are attracted to this movement, that are attracted to the uniforms, that have an outward expression of who they are. Look at young kids joining gangs and the colors and the Bloods and the Crips. You have that affiliation and brotherhood. You have a complete outward expression, and you have a community that you know when you're out who's in your community and who shares the same belief system. You have consistent, constant prayer throughout the day, 5 times a day. You have loudspeakers throughout your community blasting a reminder of who you are. And when you're wearing and you're representing it holds you to a higher standard, which I personally experienced and how I was treated with an extreme, graceful welcome. Okay, again, that was a loudspeaker announcement. I'm trying to get this done with my surgery, my hair transplant 2 days ago. I've been out of it, and I'm excited. I want to share this enthusiasm and just give my listeners a different perspective that you don't see in the news. Perhaps we can learn something from a faith that is growing astronomically. The unapologetic outward expression of their belief system is contagious, it's growing, it's infectious. And the reality is, we as Christians have been putting ourselves in a box, and I've been saying it, we've been hiding who we are. We are a generation, if you're in your 40s and 50s, that we're told to be quiet about our faith. It's been pushed out of our high school system, our elementary system. It's been pushed out of our colleges, even the ones who have a cross on their logo. I know this because my daughters go to college. It has been pushed out of government. It's been pushed out of Hollywood. There has been a major, massive, demonic erasing of our Christian faith. And it's time that perhaps we can look at another religion that frightens us because we're unaware of it, but perhaps approach it from a loving perspective and an open eyes perspective and figure out, wait a minute, why are they so comfortable in expressing who they are? Why are they so comfortable in dressing the way they dress? Why are they so comfortable fighting for local politicians? Sorry, that's the loudspeaker again. I'm going to end this. The bottom line is, it's time for the Christian faith to stand up, be proud, get back to church, pick up the Bible, pray over your meals, pray in public. Get this train back on the tracks, each family at a time. You can do your part in your role. Whether you're a younger person listening to this, influence your parents. If you're a parent, influence your kids. If you're a parent, aunt, uncle, whatever it may be, we need to inspire our Christianity back to the fold, to mainstream, back in our educational systems, back in our public offices, back in our TV screens. But let's start with our houses. I'm going to end this now. This was an unorthodox podcast in an airport, but I didn't want to go a week. I want to share with you what I learned and the impact of faith had on me that I had no idea it would have on me whatsoever.
Do you love listening to the Buddy Foy Jr. Show and want to hear his thoughts and commentary as news breaks? You can. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at Buddy Foy Jr. That's at Buddy Foy Jr. So you can watch his short video clips, enjoy pictures he posts, and read his tweets. But he also wants to hear from you on whether or not you agree or disagree with him, what topics are most important to you, and what guests you'd like him to schedule for his show. Email him anytime at buddyfoyjr@gmail.com. That's buddyfoyjr@gmail.com, and he'll read and reply to as many as he can. If you've been a guest at the Chateau on the Lake or the Chateau Anna Maria and want to buy a gift certificate or souvenir, visit the website and click Shop to buy shirts, hats, coffee mugs, and more. Remember to follow Buddy on Twitter and Instagram at Buddy Foy Jr. or email him at buddyfoyjr@gmail.com.